We learned this week that we are all doomed. We learned this, again and as usual, from the friendless nerds at the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, who, as they have annually since 1947, clambered free of the lockers into which they had last been stuffed by the football team, rearranged their most recent wedgies, pushed their sellotaped glasses back up their noses, stashed the pens back in the breast pockets of their short-sleeved shirts, and wheeled out their silly doomsday clock to sonorously caution us of impending apocalypse.
The world has not made sufficient progress on existential risks threatening all of humanity. We thus move the clock forward. In setting the clock closer to midnight, we send a stark signal.
Is it that girls still won't talk to you? We learned, anyway, that the lonely Poindexters believe that we are more doomed than ever.
It is now 89 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight.
Happy New Year to you too, lads. You'll be right eventually. On which thought? We learned that recently reinstalled US President Donald Trump actually wasn't kidding when he nominated as his Secretary of State for Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr., or at least that Trump was willing to let the gag go as far as Senate confirmation hearings, where history's distant second most impressive Robert F. Kennedy would face the formidable obstacles of everything he has ever written, everything he has ever said, and everything he has ever done.
The receipts show that Mr. Kennedy has embraced conspiracy theories, quacks, charlatans, especially when it comes to the safety and efficacy of vaccines. He has made it his life's work to sow doubt and discourage parents from getting their kids life-saving vaccines. It has been lucrative for him and put him on the verge of immense power.
We learned, however, that the thinking of the raspy-throated whale-beheading bear corpse dumper has evolved on at least a few fronts. A bit. Possibly. Hard to tell.
Did you say Lyme disease is a highly likely militarily engineered bioweapon?
I probably did say that.
Did you say that?
And that's what the developer of
I
Lyme
want all
disease
of our
said.
colleagues to hear it, Mr. Kennedy. I want them to hear it. You said yes. Did you say that exposure to pesticides causes children to become transgender?
No, I never said that.
Okay, I have the record that I'll give to the chairman, and he can make his judgment about what you said.
For we learned that while the RFK-founded organisation Children's Health Defence sells infant onesies boasting of the unvaccinated status of the irresponsibly raised child swaddled therein,
your organisation is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines.
Can you guess?
All of my kids are vaccinated.
We should probably pace ourselves, though. There has to be at least another 3 months of material in RFK before Trump sacks him, derides him as a total wacko and loser, and pretends they never even met. And at any rate, we learned from elsewhere that there may actually be someone in this world less fit for public office, if possibly better dressed. Do we have some generic Portuguese music? For we learned what may have happened to our bags. Literally every goddamn time we've flown with a particular airline, our lawyers tell us we won't be mentioning by name. We learned that a member of Portugal's actual parliament, Miguel Arruda, of the far-right Chega party, had been accused of stealing luggage from airport baggage claim, then retailing the contents online, as an agog nation was informed.
André Ventura diz que foi o Chega que denunciou a situação das maldas em que Miguel Arruda é erguido por furto.
O líder do partido pede que o deputado renuncie ao mandato.
We go now to our Portugal desk chief, Carlota Rebelo, for rigorously accurate translation and meticulously detailed context.
Yep, that's pretty much what they're saying.
Thanks, Carlota. That has expanded our understanding tremendously. Portuguese police investigating the case found 17 items of luggage in Aruda's home. If one of them is a battered antler rucksack in beige, orange tags on the zips, bit of a rip in one of the outer pockets, they can drop it round here whenever they're ready. We learned also, it should be noted, that Mr. Aruda denies everything, claiming that the widely enjoyed footage of him taking his pick from the carousels may have been generated by AI. And we, for one whimsical news review, earnestly wish him all the best with that defence. And we learned, possibly for the very first time in the history of Anglo-French relations, that the United Kingdom was prepared to make even the vaguest effort to avoid upsetting its neighbours across the Channel, thereby forestalling any eruptions of this kind of thing.
Non, vraiment, non.
We learned that the Royal Navy had decided on mature reflection not to name their latest astute-class submarine HMS Agincourt, apparently for fear of stirring up unhappy memories of this ilk.
The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George!
And yes, we know that's from Henry V before the Siege of Harfleur, not the Battle of Agincourt. Don't write in. The clip just fit better than any excerpts from the St. Crispin's Day speech. Shut up. We learned anyway that the boat in question will instead be called HMS Achilles, from which we learn that clearly the Royal Navy isn't too worried about offending any Trojans, and also that they're remarkably insouciant about naming a submarine of all craft after someone best recalled for having a small fatal weakness via which they could be rendered inoperable by a puncture. We therefore learned mostly, and frankly much to our disappointment, of the betrayal of a centuries-old and mutually treasured tradition of cross-channel baiting and bickering, though we, for one humorous current affairs monologue, believe that it is not too late for amends to be made, and note that there is plenty of room along the side of a submarine for HMS Napoleon died a broken man in a British prison. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Muller.